The Bloodravens are a mysterious, now fleet-based chapter of Space Marines after the destruction of their homeworld, Aurelia. Their thirst for the acquisition of knowledge, combined with the ever-looming shadow of their mysterious origin, can often create for a dangerous juxtapose. Nevertheless, they have proved themselves, time and time again, as a credit to the Imperium. But, if the rumours are to be believed, on occasion, a threat to it. Utilising strong tactical methodologies, the Bloodravens are a force of precision and uncanny foresight compared to some of their more gung-ho brethren. Their prioritisation of knowledge has often seen them take on the assignments that allow them to scratch this itch, supporting or leading exploratory missions and assisting the Adeptus Mechanicus fleets scouring the galaxy to satiate their own hunger for knowledge. This has caused issues for Bloodravens in the past, often bringing them into conflict with the Inquisition and raising the eyebrows of those around them that believe the role of the Astartes is that of the Emperor's weapon, not as the Emperor's scholars. These doubts are often quickly allayed by those that have seen the Bloodravens in battle, fighting with just as much zeal and righteous fury as any other chapter devout to the Emperor's cause. Where the Bloodraven's story begins is a pointless matter of contention because nobody knows, a fact that eats at the Bloodravens and has become a primary driving force for the chapter. The Bloodravens' personal chapter records date back to M37 but contain no details of their founding or who their progenitor is. Contrary to this, however, there exist scarce records within the Imperium which contain reference and record of Bloodravens' activity from before this date. So nobody knows even roughly how old the chapter is, or where they came from. What knowledge about the chapter does exist is yet another matter of contention. Some believe the Imperium itself know more than it's letting on, with precious nuggets of potential truth sealed away in the archives on Terra. More troubling rumours speak of the interest shown by the Eldari Harlequins in the chapter's origins, and the data they themselves also pertain to hold on the chapter squirreled away within the archives in the webway. There has been much speculation as to which Primarch could be their progenitor, and from which legion they were founded, with some rather simply suggesting Blood Angels or Raven Guard because they have blood or raven in their names and red armour and a bird on their shoulder and blood drop on their icon. Okay, there's more connections than just the name. However, there's one rumour floating around that I personally find very interesting. The Bloodravens are a Space Marine chapter that produce an unusually high amount of psychic attuned individuals. In fact, the relationship with their librarians has become so intertwined with the highest positions within the chapter that it even allows its chapter master to hold the dual title of Chief Librarian, as well as utilising librarians as battlefield commanders, not just as support, which is not entirely Codex compliant and frowned upon by the more doctrine chapters. Why is this interesting, or pertaining anything to do with their origins? If you combine the high regard and mass production of psychic Space Marines with their overpowering desire for the acquisition of knowledge, what other Space Marines immediately come to mind? No, not the Tome Keepers. There is arguably an innate familiarity with the Thousand Sons Traitor Legion, a legion historically obsessed with the acquisition of knowledge and produces a high number of psychic Space Marines. But they're traitors, I hear you ask, which is unfortunately yet another connection between the two factions. The Bloodravens also have a storied history of their members overreaching too far in their pursuit of answers, resulting in full-on betrayal and a turn to chaos. But to be fair, these problems have been mostly handled in-house, with loyal Bloodravens quickly removing their traitorous brethren. The lack of knowledge about their origins is a driving factor for the chapter. It is their most sought-after answer, in which some members would do almost anything to grasp but a whisper of the truth. Although, if yet another rumour is to be believed, it is said that a Bloodraven who finally did learn of the truth subsequently destroyed all evidence of it, keeping it from his brothers, while continuing to serve among them. The earliest record the Bloodravens have from M37, to some, isn't even considered a record, more of a legend. Because, of course, why would we get solid answers in this hobby? The legend tells of the chief librarian Azariah Vidya during a campaign which saw its then standing chapter master and almost the entirety of the chapter's first company slain in a trap by Chaos cultists unknowingly orchestrated by the Alpha Legion. After this shocking loss, the few remaining Bloodravens were left massively outnumbered and outmatched in a situation in which victory seemed impossible. However, Vidya was both a master tactician and a powerful psyker. Through feats of tactical genius, deception and masterful deployment of his surviving Bloodravens and their Astra Militarum allies, victory was finally achieved. Though some question the methods Vidya may, or may not, have used to gain the necessary details for the winding tightrope-wide path to victory. Upon achieving this victory, Azariah Vidya was promoted to Chapter Master of the Bloodravens, but also retained his position as Chief Librarian. This is suggested as being what began the tradition of the librarians maintaining dual roles of leadership within the chapter. Vidya went on to achieve great feats as Chapter Master, including the defeat of Harlequin Lavena the Joyful and subsequent acquisition of a powerful Eldari psychic weapon known as the Vironicum. At yet another undetermined point in the chapter's history, either during or before Azariah Vidya's tenure as Chapter Master, the Bloodravens also assembled an elite group of psychers within their chapter, which became known as the Secret Order of Psychana, charged with the training and development of the chapter librarians, as well as being the custodians of the psychic relics and forbidden knowledge within the chapter. In M38, yet another mysterious and misrecorded event occurred. While officially recorded within the chapter as an instance in which the 5th Company was lost to the warp, becoming known as the Fated, there are, however, rumours surrounding this as being an instance in which one of the 5th Company's librarians became seduced by the powers of chaos. This librarian then spread the corruption amongst the 5th Company. What actually happened? Nobody knows. There are rumours that this is just a rumour. Rumours of their extermination. And rumours that they still exist to this very day as a Chaos warband now bearing the moniker of the Fated, but ultimately unknown. What is known is that since this time the standing 5th Company of the Bloodravens all wear badges of shame and penitence upon their armour. Just don't ask them about it. Or ask what it looks like, because as far as I could find, Games Workshop have not released a design for these shame badges at all. In M40, there are records of the brave deeds of librarian Azariah Kairos. Yes, a different Azariah, who alongside the then chapter master Mariah defended the Bloodravens' homeworld of Aurelia from the demon onslaught and warp storm heralded by Ulcair, an ancient and powerful Great Unclean One. The Bloodravens fought valiantly, and together Mariah and Kairos managed to seal away Ulcair and give the rest of the chapter time to evacuate the planet with its precious artifacts and records. But too little too late. Sealing Ulcair cost Mariah his life, and the warp storm had become unstoppable. The entire planet was consumed into the warp, taking the survivors, including Kairos, with it. Within the warp, Aurelia endured, but now as an icy hellscape of demons and madness. The acts of Mariah and Kairos were documented among the great deeds of the Bloodravens, and their bravery was commended in allowing the chapter to evacuate the majority of its relics and data. The Bloodravens, since this time, have become a fleet-based chapter, with a mighty battle barge known as the Omnis Arcanum becoming its fortress monastery. This pretty much brings us up to the Dawn of War game series, including all its questionable supplementary material and sequels. The next chapter of this chapter's history is inexplicably linked with one Gabriel Angelos, and to do him justice is going to be a whole nother video. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.